Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Long Pamay, and in this video I'll be showing you how to read PDF documents or extract PDF tables without PDF Reader or Acrobat API. I'll also demonstrate how to loop through rows and columns within the table, and in the following video I'll also show you how to read PDF forms contents without Reader or Acrobat API. So before we begin, please do not forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for upcoming videos. These are the PDF files that we'll be using for demonstration purpose. As you can see, the default program to open these files is Chrome at the moment because I do not have the Reader or Acrobat installed. Let me load up these files first, this and then this. Okay, so this first file, let's give it a moment. This file is a basic PDF document, which is a table in between. This is the same file we used for demonstration while we did a series on PDF automation using Acrobat API. So we'll touch base on this file as well. We'll try to extract this table or read through all this content of this PDF file. And this one is a sample, again, annual report. This particular PDF has two tables. One is here. This is sample data. And then here's another one. So I'll demonstrate how to extract these two tables into your Excel. And in the following video, we'll be looking at how to extract data from the PDF form. Okay, we have to use another method to do this, so I'll cover it separately in the following video. First, let's get the file name, and we'll move on. First, let's start off with this file. Let me get the file name. And we'll move on to the other one after this. Okay, let's insert a module. Let's call this file name as string. And then let's call this sub read from PDF. Now for this demonstration, I'm going to use the Word library. So go to your reference and look for Microsoft Word object. So here I have Word 16.0 object library. So whatever is your version, just check this box and click on OK. Now let's start. Let's call the Word app, WApp, as Word application. And then let's call this wdoc as document. Let's just clear the memory now itself like this, and then now we can open up, set this object equal to Word, or we can say this dot documents dot open. So here goes our file name. In the parameter, as you can see, the file name, and then there are so many optional ones that you can input. So here, one thing to note here is confirm conversion. So if you specify the true, then you'll get notified, like you'll get an option to choose which like program to convert it to. For now, we don't want that prompt, so I'm gonna turn that to false. Okay, and here maybe we don't want to see this. We'll just turn this up to false as well, and then we'll close without saving once we're done. And here goes our reading part. So now before that, let's clear the paragraph and line. So dim, let's call this pg as word.paragraph, and then word line as string, something like this. Now let's loop through all the text in the paragraph and see how it works. So now let's loop through all the paragraph in our Word document, the one that we've opened, paragraph. So busy. And here let's assign the range tags to this one. And let's print this out. Just then see the word application. Now let me first save the file. Let's call this and now let's give it a try. So now I think we can go ahead and run this code. So quickly here we set up the application, a new Word application, the Word document, paragraph, and a variable for string. And this is basically to hold the lines later on. And then coming here we set the app. We don't want the app to be visible, so we set it to false. Here it opens up this file, and then without without conversion we turn it to false, and then here it loops through all the paragraph and then it prints out the text. Okay, now let's go ahead and try to run this. So as soon as it hits this line, it's gonna stop, just for now, for demonstration purpose. Okay, and so it starts to print the first line like this. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the file. This is the file we're working on now. I'm making a copy of it. Let me load up this file so we can see it side by side. Okay, so here you'll get an idea. So this part is here, and you can see this data is being printed out here. Okay, now I'm gonna let this run through for all the lines without stopping, and then once it reaches here, it's gonna close the document without saving it, and then clears the memory, ends the application. Okay, now let me disable this part, and I'll show you how to loop through all the rows and columns within the table. Okay, so first so we're talking about this table. Now we'll try to extract this table, and then we'll cover another example as well. So first, let's declare variable again. Dim, let's call this row table row as long, and then column as long. Okay. Now, if you want to add a handler, you can also say that if this .tables.count is greater than 0, then we can have this code run here. Okay, and then here we'll put a reference to the tables, and now we know that there is one table there, so I'm gonna put it like this, in this fashion. And then from here we're gonna loop through all the rows and columns, okay, with this table, with the first table. So if you have more tables, then you can specify table 2 here, or you can loop through, you can set a counter for tables count, and then you can loop through all the tables and then have the result printed out. So after we do this demonstration, after we complete this demonstration, it should be much more clearer. Now with this table we want to loop through, so we'll say for this row is equal to 1 to okay, so it should be fine, 1 to this document, this table's rows.count. Okay, so we're gonna loop from row number 1 till the maximum rows. Okay, and then within this row we're gonna add another counter to loop through the column. Okay, so it's a nested loop, equal to 1 to, and then dot columns dot count. Again, this dot column is of this column. It's same as writing it in this fashion. Okay, and then this is gonna be T column, and here let's try to print the value first. Now let's print this dot or we can just say we can set the reference for row number and column number dot range dot text. Okay, let's give it a try. No. F5. So it's running. Just give it a moment. As you can see, start to print out this one, and then this. You can let me just do this. Okay, so that you can see side by side how the values are getting printed out. So portfolios 5, and then the value here, and then now it's gonna print out this. So as you can see, like the format is not in the exact way that we want. So row 3, this column 1 does not exist. So maybe we can just have it run through irrespective. So you'll need to add an error resume next, and here we'll say on error go to 0. I'll let this line go through and then let this part rerun it. Control G. Okay, so it printed out the last value here, 780. Okay, so now I'll try to write this to cells instead of printing it out here. So again, we might have to add handler based on the document that you have. You need to play around more. This is cells. I'll just add one row down starting from here, and then column, let it be the T column. That is fine. Let's run this. Okay, so it's not in the perfect manner, but it's there, so you can organize it better and better. Let's clean this data a bit. So so first let's clean this value. This will remove, like if there's new line or like illegal like text, and then we'll add one more. We'll trim as well, and then within this we'll add whatever we constructed earlier. Let's rerun this part. Okay, so now it's much better. Okay, now let's quickly cover this document as well, the annual report. So in this here we have two tables, so let's try and print this out as well. Here's one table with 4 columns, and here's another one. So I'm gonna take the part. Okay, this part is not gonna work. Okay, so if I try to run this now, it should print the first table only. Okay, now let me make a copy of this file as well so that we can open it side by side. So this is the table that we just printed out. Okay. Oops. Okay, we can copy and paste it like that. So you can see the last value is 652, and then the first one is 132, product 1 to product 5. Okay, now let's loop through both the tables, and then we're gonna print out these tables in a different location. Let's give one more variable, table count. And then we'll declare one more variable. Let's call this table index. Oops. Now we can have this handler run this within this handler, and instead of table 1 we'll say this table index next table. Okay, so we'll loop through all the tables which are there within the document. Now we've already changed the index here. Before we print out, let's make this dynamic. Now let's add some indicators so that we'll know which table data it is. Maybe we can say we can identify the last row and print it out, or we can also do that in a more simpler manner as well. Dim row index as now let's set this to row index. Or I think we should dynamically construct this. We'll say dim last row as long, and here let's set up last row. Sheet 1 based on a column will identify what is the last row of data. Dot row. Okay, so this should just return us last row with data. So at the moment it's saying 7th is the last row with data. So if I get rid of this, it should just give 1. Okay, we can use this to print it to the new row all the time. So we have to have this run all the time. Now let's try and run this first, and then we'll come back. Okay, so here you can see the first table, and here's the second table. Now let me add a small bifurcation for these two tables. Now let me move this within the table, and let's call this one. This will just show the like a table bifurcation. Let's add some more rows there. I'm gonna get rid of this. Okay. This was not defined here yet. That's the reason why it's giving error. Okay, so here's our first table and the second table. Okay guys, that's gonna be all for this video. I hope you found it informative. If so, do not forget to leave a like and please do subscribe for upcoming videos. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.